the next example, and then we'll see RLC circuit. Okay. So this is the example. Okay. I think my screen is visible, voice is audible. Please confirm, then we'll start. Is screen visible to you? Please confirm. Okay, okay. So please read the question. Read it carefully because we'll need the reference of this question while solving this example. Okay. A condenser of capacity C farads with V naught. Okay. A condenser of capacity C farads with V naught is discharged through a resistance R ohms. Okay. So that is indicating this example. Is screen visible? Chinmay is saying screen is not visible. Please confirm, is screen visible? This question is visible to you?
Visible.
Okay, okay, okay. So a condenser. Okay, okay. Thank you, Atharu. Now next, the question. Next part of the question is condenser of capacity C and with voltage V naught is there. Okay, and it is being discharged through a resistance R1. Okay, so capacitor is getting discharged through resistance R, and they have asked show that if Q coulombs is the charge on the condenser. Uh, Firstly, don't get confused between condenser and capacitor. These two are the same things. Okay, so you can say if Q is the coulomb, Q coulomb is the charge on the capacitor, I ampere is the current, and V is the voltage at time t, and obviously Q is equal to CV, V is equal to Ri, that we already know, and I is equal to dq by dt. This also we know. Then we have to show that V is equal to V naught e raised to minus t by RC. Okay, V is equal to V naught e raised to minus t by RC. This is the we can say thing that we have to prove in this example. Okay, so please concentrate on. I think I'll change my window and we will start the solving the example. Okay, so I think the notebook and pen with my hand is visible to you. Hmm. Okay, so I think you have understood the example, but if you don't have understood, then I'll explain again. Okay, with the help of the diagram. Okay, so let's say capacitor is there, battery is there, then this key is also there. Okay, and what we are going to do, we are going to connect the resistance C, and voltage given is V naught. Okay, voltage given is V naught. This is the key. Now what they have said, capacitor C is getting discharged through R. Capacitor C is getting discharged through this R. Okay, and whatever conditions they have given show that if Q is the coulomb and all those things are given, what we have to show, V is equal to V naught e raised to minus t upon RC. This thing we have to show or we have to prove. Okay, no, what we can do in this case is let's say we will start now. This capacitor will be getting discharged through this resistance once this key is released. Once this key is released. Okay, now please consider this V naught. Please consider this. There are two types of batteries, na? We can say, which are continuously providing you the energy, and the batteries which gets deteriorated over the time. That is, if we consider a battery inside your remote control, which is any pencil cell or any cell, it is getting deteriorated with over the time, over the period. Okay, so such kind of battery is there. Okay, so if this assumption is understood, then we'll go to the next part. Okay, so such kind of V naught battery is there. Okay, so please consider, in this case what will happen once this V naught is completely drained out. Once this V naught is completely drained out, while switch was closed, all the energy released by this V naught will be consumed by your capacitor, and once we open this key, what will happen? Circuit will be disconnected. Okay, circuit will be disconnected, and once we close this key, then V naught is drained out. Correct. Once we close this circuit, V naught is already drained out because its energy is consumed by capacitor, and capacitor is storing that energy. And once we close this circuit, this capacitor is or the energy in the capacitor is getting discharged. Okay, our capacitor is getting discharged through this resistance R. This is the we can say question, and we have to show that voltage V at time t in the circuit is given by V is equal to V naught e raised to minus t by RC. I think question is now understood. Now for that, what we'll do, we will start with, we know that VR is equal to R into I, and voltage across capacitor is VC is equal to Q by C. Okay, so this we already know. Now while the first step of solving such we can say circuits is to write your KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so while writing the Kirchhoff's voltage law, what time they are going to means at what time we are going to see the voltage V. Please consider that at what time. The question is, show that if Q coulombs is the charge on condenser, and V is the voltage at time t. So at time t, battery is getting drained out. That's why in the circuit, generally what we write, VR plus VC equal to E, or in this case we can say V naught. But since at time t, V naught is drained out, we can say V naught is drained out, its energy is 0, and hence instead of this KVL equation, what we'll write, we will write VR plus VC equal to we can say 0. Okay, we can say 0 at let's say time t. VR plus VC is equal to 0 because the condition they have told us. Okay, depending on the condition. Now next is, obviously now VR is having the value IR plus Q by C is equal to 0. Okay, now we know that this is not in standard form of first order linear differential equation. Then what we will do, obviously, and there is no term of any we can say differential term, so we know that I is equal to dq by dt. So dq by dt into we can say R plus Q by C equal to 0. We can say that as I is equal to dq by dt. So R dq by dt plus Q by C is equal to 0. Okay. Now the next part is we can say we still this is not in a standard form. So dq by dt plus Q upon RC is equal to 0. And yesterday someone was asking me, so instead of having the differential equation in the form of VC, can we write the differential equation in the form of Q? So this is the answer. That's why I told yesterday that in some of the in one of the example I will conveying that information to you also. Okay, so this is the form. And yesterday's form was RC dVc by dt plus, I can say, Vc is equal to E. Since the example was different, this was the form. So both the forms we can use, and depending on the condition given in the example, equal to 0 or equal to E, that you have to, we can say, identify, that you have to identify. In this case, is equal to 0 is there because battery is drained, that's why. Okay, now we can say, we can move further, because we can solve this by then dq by dt is equal to, since it is equal to 0, I can put minus q upon rc, minus q upon rc, and minus q upon rc. uh, Now this kind of equation can be solved, getting the terms of dq and q at one side. Dq by q is equal to, I can say, minus 1 upon RC, and this dt is getting here. Okay, this q we have brought here and dt is getting here. Okay, so this can be the step. Now integrating on both side, integrating on both side, on both side, what I can do, dq by q. I think the notebook and whatever I'm writing is visible to you. Somewhat blur is there, but we'll see what we can do here. Change somewhat movement of this one. Yes. Okay. dq by q, equal to minus 1 by rc. Since it is constant, I have taken it at outside, and since it is indefinite integral, I am going to add so one constant of integration. Okay, and so dq 1 upon q is, we know the integration of 1 upon q with respect to q is log q, is log q. Okay, but directly, instead of writing this, what they have given in a question, that at time t is equal to 0, at time t, please tell me, at time t is equal to 0, what will happen? Okay, so the whatever charge is there, okay, that will be q naught. At time t is equal to 0, but that will put after this equation, log q is equal to minus 1 upon rc into t plus a, plus a. Now at t is equal to 0, what is the charge in the circuit? Q is equal to q naught, q is equal to q naught, and by putting this, what we can do is log, instead of q, use, because we have to find the value of a, na, that's why we are doing this, please remember. So for your understanding, I will write this as equation. Okay, I have written this, I have given the equation number 1 to this equation. Okay, and next is, we have to find the value of a, na, that's why we are putting the initial conditions that I have already explained to you. Okay, then why we put initial conditions. So minus 1 upon rc, and t's value will be, since in equation 1 t was there, at t is equal to 0, so that term will become 0 plus a, so a will be log of q naught. This will be the value of a will be log of q naught. Okay, and if we put, let's say this is equation 2, if we put this equation a's value in equation 1, what we will get, log of q equal to minus 1 upon rc into t plus log of a's value is log of q naught, log of q naught. By rearranging, what I can write, log of q minus log of q naught equal to minus 1 upon rc into t, and using the rules of logarithm, q upon q naught I can write like this, and what other change I can do, by equal to minus 1 upon rc into t. Okay, and if we shift this log to this side, q upon q naught will be equal to e raised to minus t by rc, e raised to minus t by rc. Why we are doing this? Because somewhere we have to put whatever we want to prove in that, this term is there, e raised to. That's why I am doing this. Okay. So q upon q naught equal to e raised to minus t by rc. So in other words, we can say q naught by rearranging this equation minus t upon rc. Okay, are you getting this? Now from this, how we can prove that v equal to v naught e raised to minus t by rc? What are the in between steps? Can you please tell what are the in between steps? From q we have to get to v, from q naught we have to get to v naught. So what is the relation between q and v, that we have to check. Okay, so we know that, what we know that, and they have also given in the question, they have given q is equal to cv na. So from, if you want to get from q to your v, then what we will do, dividing both sides by c, dividing both sides by c. So q upon c equal to q naught upon c e raised to minus t by rc. And we know that q by c is equal to v, and q naught by c is equal to v naught. Hence we can say v is equal to v naught e raised to minus t by rc. Okay, so are you getting this? Please confirm, are you getting this? Yes. So is this example is clear to you? Then we'll go to the next example. Okay, then we will go to the next example. Okay. My screen, laptop is hands. Oh, we'll just yes, you can read this question now. Okay, the next question is, uh, so the equations of electromotive force in terms of the current I for an electrical circuit having resistance R and condenser of capacity C in series is given by this equation. So E is equal to, so this is also a question of, we can say, question of RC. Okay, question of RC. Okay, so and find the current I at any time t. Find the current I at any time t when E is equal to E naught sine omega t. So I have, since I am solving the example on paper, that's why I have put this. Okay, but okay, if you want, I will remove it. Now next is, this is the example. Okay, the equations of EMF in terms of current I for an electrical circuit having resistance R and condenser of capacity C in series, obviously series combination, RC series combination they have given, is E is equal to Ri integration of I by C dt. Find the current I at any time t when E is equal to E naught sine omega t. E is equal to E naught sine omega t. Okay, so it is having very, this is very simple example, but what they have given is E naught equal to E equal to E naught sine omega t. Since sine omega t is there, okay, since sine omega t is there, the we can say the formula which we are going to use, it will be changing. Okay, and due to this formula, we can say the solution will be somewhat linear. But don't worry, we will solve this. Okay, okay. So we'll again go to the notebook and pen. Okay, So I think question is understood by you, but for your reference I will again write the I can say I will again write the equation. E is equal to Ri plus integration of I by C dt, integration of I by C dt. Okay, and E is given as E naught sine omega t. E is equal to E naught sine omega t. They have given. Okay, so first we will try to have the circuit as RC series combination. Okay, and since E naught sine omega t is there, so time varying source is there. That's why we will put the sign like this. Okay, and this C is there, R is there. Current, let's say I is flowing in this direction in your circuit. Okay, and E is equal to uh, Ri, okay, plus integration of I by C dt they have given. Okay, so obviously this will be the first step. We have the solution can start with, we have this, what this given equation. Okay, now we know that the standard any we can say first order linear differential equation is not involving the integration term, but since we are having integration term here, okay, what we can do, what we can do to negate this integration term, we can differentiate both sides, because unless we get the equation in standard form we cannot apply solution, that is the procedure of getting the solution of that equation. Okay, that is to find pi and sorry if, that is to find integrating factor, and then the finding the solution. Okay, so that's why we will always the I have always described you the steps of solving the such examples, like please get your equation in standard first order linear differential equation form. Okay, so that's why we are doing this, differentiating both sides. What we'll get, so instead of r we will write e naught sign. We will just rewrite this again, Ri, because it will be very easier to understand. Ri plus integration dt is equal to e naught sine omega t, and then by differentiating what we will get, r di by obviously with respect to t. Yeah? Okay, that is understood. 1 upon I can say rc, 1 upon rc, 1 upon c, I upon c, then e naught sine omega t's derivative will be omega cos omega t, omega cos omega t. Now still this is not in standard form. What we will do? No. No. Oh. So still this equation is not in standard form. What we will do? We will divide it by r, the method we have followed all the way in our course, okay, till now. So E naught upon R into omega cos omega t, into cos omega t. So the next step will be, now this is in standard form, okay, di by dt, okay, here dy by dx plus py equal to q, in this form it is, okay. I think this is understood to you now. Now next what we will do, uh, since this is in standard form, we can directly find integrating factor. Integrating factor. And integrating factor is given by e raised to t upon RC dt. Obviously, we have seen in RC circuit, integrating factor is always given by this such kind of equations. Okay, e raised to t by RC. Okay, are you getting this? E raised to t by RC. This is one. E raised to t by RC. IF is there. Now its solution is, we can say solution, I can say I into IF integration of E naught, since we are having what we were having, E naught W upon R, E naught W upon R, this is the constant, and cos omega t is variable. That's why we will put E naught omega R, E naught omega divided by R outside the integration sign, and only cos omega t will be inside. Okay, this is our Q. That's why. So I can directly, so instead of doing that directly, E naught by omega r cos omega t into if, and hold this with respect to t, that is dt. Okay, so as I said, we will keep this outside the integration, and then cos omega t e raised to t upon rc into dt plus constant of integration, okay, are you getting this step? Now what we will do, uh, e raised to, we yesterday we saw one formula, e raised to ax into sine bx, okay, integration, how to do this integration. Huh? So here we will see one more formula, e raised to ax is there, then cos bx is there with respect to x. This, the we can say, the formula is e raised to ax upon a square plus b square, a into bracket cos bx plus b sin bx, a cos bx plus b sin bx. This is the formula. Okay, so I have told you to revise such formulae. Okay, uh, then by using this and using if as e raised to t by rc, we will directly have LHS as I into e raised to t by rc equal to, now very big equation will be there. Okay, please try to understand. Okay, uh, e naught omega, okay, e naught omega upon r, that is the constant part, that will be as it is, e raised to ax, a is here, e raised to t by rc, so t by rc is the a, so e raised to t upon rc upon, okay, a square plus b square, na, a square plus b square is there. Okay, so 1 upon r square plus sorry r square c square, and then plus omega square. This is a is what, 1 upon, correct, rc is the a. Okay, now and b is omega, that's why this term is there. Now in bracket a is again 1 upon rc, and then cos bx means cos omega t plus um, b into sin bt, that is b into sin bx, so sin omega t, okay, and plus your constant of integration, plus constant of integration. Are you getting this step now? Okay, and then while we can rearrange equations, and we can write e naught omega upon r as it is. If I multiply this, and then it will be also going to this, so r square, directly I am writing this step, e raised to t by r c, and this 1 plus omega square r square c square, okay, and inside the bracket 1 upon rc cos omega t plus omega sin omega t plus that constant of integration is as it is. Okay, I think you are getting these steps now. Okay, now this I is equal to, um, I can rewrite this as, if I multiply, obviously here it is e raised to t by rc. Okay, so if I can divide both the sides, because we have to find the current, that's why obviously in previous examples also we have seen this. So we have to divide this all both the sides by e raised to t by rc, and if we do so, I is equal to e naught omega, mm, and by rc, yeah, okay, since we are dividing by rc, what we will be remaining with, e raised to t by rc, and then rc square upon, I'm directly writing, okay, if you are not getting this, these are only small adjustments, c square, so 1 upon rc, and then cos omega t plus omega sin omega t. Plus, since we are dividing both sides, na, a into e raised to minus t by rc will be there. Okay, minus t by rc will be there. Okay, and if you again rearrange, if this can be the final form also, no problem. And if you want to again further rearrange, then you can do this also. Okay, so that is not a problem. So this can be a final answer. Okay, are you getting this? Please confirm in chat box. Please, dear students, please confirm in chat box that. And then we'll move to RLC circuit. Okay, RLC circuit. Very simple steps are there, nothing to worry. And the second thing I want to convey is I have already uploaded assignments. Okay, and for your reference, if you want the solved examples, okay, 4 to 5 solved examples that we have discussed, I will be uploading today. Okay, so using the practice which you are doing in the lecture, whatever knowledge you are getting in lecture, and again we can say observing those examples, we will be able to solve the assignment. Okay, first question is already given, and rest 5 to 6 or 4 to 5 questions I have uploaded on Google Classroom. Okay, so what we will do, we will move on to RLC circuit. But before moving on to RLC circuit, I want to hear from you that have you ever come across first order or any differential equation? Because the solutions, these are the applications of RLC circuit. Okay, so finding out the solutions is the basic theory behind, we can say, behind this, behind analyzing any circuit. This we can say electrical circuit or electrically coupled circuit. Then you are having a mass spring, we can say, a system. Okay, so these are the applications of differential equations. Okay, so till this now, the part was very simple because first order equations we are coming across. Okay, till now we are coming across only first order equations, but the RLC circuit is involving, we can say, two energy storing elements, that is L and C. That's why we are having second order differential equation. Okay, so what is the form, and then that I will discuss. But please tell me whether you know how to find solution of such a second order differential equation. And if two cases are there, na, if you don't know, I'll be explaining. And if you don't know also, if you know also, then I'll be revising. That is the thing. For that sake, I'm asking you. Please confirm then. You can unmute yourself, and please you can communicate with me in voice. So please, someone can unmute himself or herself and communicate with me. So I'll be just asking 1 or 2 questions. Okay, depending on that, I need to decide my way to go forward. That's why I'm asking, because there is no point in wasting so much time if you know already. But still, I'll quickly revise. Don't worry about that. Okay, but still, I'll quickly revise with the proof also. So please, who is there? Abhijit Kadam is there. So Abhijit, can you hear me? I'm not able to hear you. Atharv is there. Atharv, can you hear me, Atharv? Hello, Atharv, can you hear me? Wait, just wait. Atharv? Am I audible, Atharv?
Yes, sir.
So, Atharv, can you please tell me till what part you have studied? That is, have you came across such equations in first year?
No, sir.
You don't know then how to find the solution of second order differential equation. Okay.
We know it, sir. We learned from YouTube.
Okay, you have learned from YouTube. YouTube. Okay, okay. So M1 or M2?
Because it's part of the syllabus.
Okay. What you said before starting of syllabus? No, no. My question is in your syllabus whether that part was there. That is differential equations.
Yes, sir. Second order derivatives are there.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'll quickly revise. Okay. I think you are
Yes,
familiar
sir.
now, but I'll quickly revise.
Yes.
Okay. And for that, you need to now only concentrate on the screen, or we can say the paper and pen that I am writing everything. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, since you don't know, or considering that you have completed, or some of you might have, we can say, forgot how to find the solution. Okay, then what we'll do, we will just very generalized structure we'll see of second order differential equation. In that, there are two parts that we will discuss. Okay. Um, to start with, I can say. Uh, any equation of the form, okay, please now concentrate. Any equation of the form, I can say, where generalized form I will take p of x d square y by dx square plus q of x dy by dx plus r of x into y equal to g of x. So any this is the general form of second order linear differential equation. Okay, this is very generalized form of any second order linear differential equation. Please see, every dy by dx or every term of y, that is, this is dependent variable and its derivatives, dependent variable y and its derivative, that is dy by dx and d square y by dx. Okay, dx square, these terms are having coefficients, some coefficients in terms of x, since it is, and in terms of x means what, in terms of independent variable. Okay, so the coefficients of dependent variable and its derivatives are in terms of independent variable, that is x. So p of x, q of x, r of x, and please see, on right hand side also the function of x is there, that is g of x. So that's why we say this is a very general, we can say general form of second order linear differential equation. Okay, so I think you have understood what is the general form. Now, why I'm focusing on this, we can say, general form, because in analyzing RLC circuit, in analyzing electrically coupled circuits, in analyzing, I can say, mass spring system, you will come across such equations. Okay, not in this form exactly, but a form which is similar to this form. Okay, this is, since this is very generalized form, in some of the equations, let's say dy by dx term is not there, but still two terms are there. Still, we will say this is a second order equation. Okay, so whether it is linear or not, that is the question. Next question. Okay, that we will see in that application part. But somehow the equations will be in second order form. Okay, second order differential form. Whether these equations are linear or not, in electrical circuit or in RLC circuit, we can say the equations will be in linear form only. Okay, so in what will happen in mass spring system, that is the last part of this unit that we will see in coming lectures. But for now, please understand this is your generalized form. Okay, now, mm, to solve such equations, there are two conditions again. Okay, there are two conditions again. First is, we can say, second order linear differential equation is having two another categories, that is one is homogeneous and another is non-homogeneous. Okay, non-homogeneous. One is homogeneous and another is non-homogeneous. So simply, if right hand side of equation is 0, then this is of homogeneous type, and if right hand side of equation is not equal to 0, then it is non-homogeneous type. Okay, so if you write that generalized equation in we can say non-homogeneous sorry, if the generalized equation is in homogeneous we can say homogeneous form, then how that equation will look like, that I will describe you. Px d square y by dx square plus q of x, what was that, dy by dx plus r of x y equal to 0. Okay, equal to g of x will not be there, equal to 0 for g of x uh, equal to 0. Since g of x is 0, this is a form of homogeneous second order linear differential equation. So in RLC circuit you will be coming across both the forms, that is homogeneous and non-homogeneous. So depending on the homogeneous and non-homogeneity, there are different ways to find the solutions of such equations, because if homogeneous is there, there is some particular method to find the solution. If non-homogeneous is there, there are particular methods to find the solution. Okay, now instead of directly going to the application, that's why I am going to describe you what are the different ways in which let's say first part is homogeneous linear differential equation solution is find out. Okay, how to find the solution of linear second order, so you can say second order linear differential equation which is homogeneous equation. Okay, are you getting this? Now moving ahead, what I will do, let's say there is a theorem, you can say this theorem, and one more theorem is very much important to understand why the solution is coming like this. Okay, every time we will put some solutions, that is we will write directly. If the thing which I'll discuss in rest of the this lecture and tomorrow's you can say half part is understood by you, then directly we can write uh, the solution of such equation is given by this. Okay, directly we can write solution of this equation is given by this, using this. So for that, for to do that, we have to understand why the equations are like this. Okay, how to find the solution of such equations. So the basic fact that enable us to solve such homogeneous we are now please note that we are dealing with homogeneous second order linear differential equations. Okay, now uh, if let's say I can say y1 and y2 are two solutions, are, let's say only are two solutions of homogeneous second order linear differential equation, then linear combination, then like I can say linear combination, that is y equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2 is also a solution, and we will see how to prove this. Okay, this we can say as a corollary or theorem. This we can say as corollary or theorem. Okay, what we have till now, a differential equation, homogeneous differential equation in such form, that is px d square y by dx square plus qx dy by dx plus rxy equal to 0. And let's say y1 and y2, why we have taken y1 and y2 only, any but we can say any arbitrary terms in form of y we can take. So y1 and y2, why y only? Because it is dependent variable, so equation will be having, the solutions will be obviously having the form of y. So that is we can say obvious thing. Okay, so y1 and y2 are two solutions, let's say. So if y1 and y2 are the solutions for this homogeneous second order linear differential equation, then y equal to, that is c1 y1 plus c2 y2 will also be a solution, now very quickly within a minute we will prove this. Okay, we can say since y1 and y2 are solution, and I am calling this equation as one. Okay, every time I will not call this homogeneous second order linear differential equation. Okay, I'll just call this, for now I will call this as equation 1. Okay, now since y1 and y2 are solutions of equation 1, we can write uh, p of x, because form is p of x. Okay, d square y by dx square. So since y1 is solution, in place of y I can write y1 and double derivative. Okay, plus q of x, instead of dy by dx I can write dy1 by dx, that is y1, I can say y dash, plus r of x into y1 equal to 0. Also I can write p of x y2 double dash plus q of x y2 dash, I think one is here remaining, yes, r of x y2 equal to 0. Okay, are you getting this? But we have differentiation terms involved in this. That's why if I can write, we can say using different basic differentiation. What I can do, differentiation, I can do p of x into, I can say, in general y double dash. Okay, this is the equation that we have, na? D square y by dx square can I write in y double dash form? Okay, plus q of x y dash plus r of x y can be written as p of x into, now please remember, c1 y1. Okay, c1 y1 plus c2 y2 double dash, because y1 double dash is we have written na, and y1 equal to c1 y1. Okay, y1 is equal to c1 y1, that's why. So c1 y1 plus c2 y2 double dash plus q of x c1 y1 plus c2 y2 again single dash. Okay, because y dash is there and y is equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2, that's why we are doing this. Okay, y is what? Y double dash. So y's value is c1 y1 plus c2 y2, that's why these terms are coming. Okay, now r of x into c1 y1 plus c2 y2. Okay, so again solving this we can get p of x as, okay, c1. Now we can, using differentiation rules, we can take separate derivatives of y1 and y2 instead of commonly taking. So c1 and c2 are constants, that's why no problem is there. Y1 double dash plus c2 y2 double dash plus q of x, again c1 y1 dash plus c2 y2 dash plus r of x, the term will be same, c1 y1 plus c2 y2. I think it was not feasible. Okay, what we have done, double derivative of this bracket is given to separate variables y1 and y2. Okay, same is the case with y1 and y2 here. Okay, now, if you take out C1 and C2, if you take out C1 and C2 at outside the bracket, y1 double dash plus q of x y1 dash plus r of x y1 plus C2 in bracket p of x y2 double dash plus q of x y2 dash plus r of x y2. Only we have taken c1 c2 common from the above step. Okay, now what you are seeing here, p of x y1 double dash, okay, plus q of x y1 dash is there, plus r of x y1. okay, plus r of x y1. Okay, where we have seen this term we have seen here, in this step, and whose values are 0. And why the values will be 0? Because since y1 and y2 are the solutions, we have already seen, uh, if this is the equation, whose right hand side is 0, then the solutions given for this equation will be always having right hand side equal to 0. That's why these terms are 0. And if we put these same terms, that is, its value will be 0 and its value will be 0. Okay, so both this term will be 0. That's why C1 in 0 plus C2 0 will be equal to 0, and hence both the sides are equal now. That's why we can say y is equal to, I can say C1 y1 plus C2 y2 is the solution for equation 1. Equation 1, I have already told you what is equation 1. If For equation 1, if y1 and y2 are solutions for the same equation, 1. Are you getting this? Please confirm in chat box. Okay, this is just small proof. Okay, this is just a small proof. Are you getting this? Please confirm in chat box, and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, then we'll move to the next step. And next, one more theorem is there, which is of similar kind to this, and depending on that theorem, all the solutions will be given in the application part. So that theorem is very important. Okay, are you getting this? Okay, so whatever I have discussed is, if y1 and y2 are the solutions of equation 1, then y is equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2 is also a solution. That is the thing that I have described. Okay, and forget about the proof part. Okay, for your understanding, I have given the proof part. No one will be asking you the proof. Okay, but you know now, linear combination can be a solution. Okay, linear combination can be a solution. Are you getting this? No one will be asking you the proof part. I have just, to make you comfortable, I have given the proof part. Okay, please confirm, dear students. Okay, yes. Now we will move on to the next part, that is, I will be continuing this part. We'll just see what is the next theorem. Okay. Now, C1 y1. Okay, that we have proved. Okay. Now the next part is very simple part. Okay, only we have to add x in this. Okay, only we have to add x. Since linear, okay, do you know the basic definition of linearly independent solutions? Okay, when I will say, just say, if I say, please understand this concept, huh? Linear independency, independency. I will be discussing now. Linear independency. I will say y1 and y2 are linearly independent if linearly independent if linearly independent if when y1 and y2, I can say, uh, are not, I can say, constant multiples of each other. I can say, in other words, I can say are not constant multiples, constant multiples of each other, constant multiples of each other. That is, for example, if I take some, okay, let's say f of x and g of x are two we can say solutions, or we can say two functions. If f of x is x square and g of x is 5x square, these are linearly independent because f of x is equal to some constant multiple of g of x. Okay, so I can say f of x is equal to 5, or we can say, okay, g of x is equal to 5 f of x. So both are constant multiples of each other. So g of x is a constant multiple of f of x. So in this case, we don't say, or we say that these are not linearly independent, or these are not linearly independent, or in other words we say, or these are linearly what, linearly dependent, linearly dependent are you getting this? Okay, but if the functions are like this, I can say f of x is equal to e raised to x, okay, and let's say g of x is equal to x into e raised to x. Now, these are not linearly dependent because x can take any values. Because x can be as e raised to x will, when e raised to x will be changed, when x will be changing. And it is not necessary in the same proportion g of x will change because x into e raised to x is there. So, these two are not in, these two are not the constant multiples of each other. That's why we say that these are linearly independent. These are linearly independent. Now, do you understand this concept? Linear dependency and independency. Okay, I think you have understood this concept. If both the solutions or both the functions are not constant multiples of each other, then they are linearly dependent. Sorry, they are linearly independent of each other. Okay, linearly independent of each other. Why I am stressing this concept is, the next theorem we will just write the statement and we will start with the proof. We can say not proof, but how this theorem is very useful, okay, in finding the solutions of homogeneous second order linear differential equation. Okay, for that, this is the background. If like I can say, if y1 and y2 are linearly independent solutions, okay, are linearly, now you know linearly independence, huh? Please don't say you don't know. Linearly independent solutions, if y1 and y2 are linearly independent solutions of, I can say, equation 1, huh? Again I am taking equation 1. Equation 1 is what? Homogeneous second order linear differential equation. Of equation 1, and let's say p of x is never 0. Let's say p of x is never 0. Now what is p of x in that equation? You can check this coefficient of second order term. Okay, second order term. Why this condition is necessary? Because if this coefficient is itself 0, then no longer your equation is second order. No longer your equation is second order. That's why, given the condition that p of x is not equal to 0, p of x is not equal to 0, what we can do is, uh, what we can say state is, then the general solution, okay, then general solution of such equation is given by, general solution is given by, I can say y of x equal to c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x. Please remember that earlier we have proved that y equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2. Now we have included the functions y of x equal to y1 of c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x. How this is possible, or this is possible only if these y1 of x and y2 of x are linearly independent. Okay, linearly independent. Okay, then and then only we can state, or we can say that this is also a solution. Okay, this is also a solution to given homogeneous second order differential equation. Okay, are you getting this? But the next step is what do you want? Then can we continue? It is at 12:30. It is at 12:30. Yes. Now, have you understood this part? Please confirm in chat box. Yes, I want more answers. Yes, Ninad. Yes, correct, correct. Okay, now you are getting this part. Okay, most of you are replying. Okay, don't say yes to end the lecture. Okay, don't do that. If you are not understanding, we'll do something more. Hmm. We'll try different methods to let you know. This online mode is putting some limitations to explain, but still I am trying my best to use pen and paper and all the things. Okay, and proof is not at all important for you. If I am writing the solution for this after analyzing or after applying KVL, some second order equation is coming in front of you, and if I am directly writing this is the solution for this second order homogeneous equation, so then you will be getting confused that how, sir, how do you how you are we can say saying like this is the equation. Okay, so for that I am just quickly what I'm doing, mm, I'm just quickly telling you what is the theory behind this. Okay, I'm just quickly telling you what is the theory behind this, and uh, that's why we are seeing these examples. Okay, that's why we are seeing these examples. Now, are you getting the concepts that I'm telling you? It will take some time. Directly, instead of directly going to the application part, it will take some time to get to the examples, but you will be understanding each and every step of the example. That's why we are doing this. Okay, so I think we are quite comfortable with this approach, and with this note I will conclude my lecture, today's lecture. Okay, and one more extra slot is given to us by our HOD sir, on that is on Friday. Okay, on Friday, from this week onwards, on Friday at 1:15 you will be having a maths lecture. Okay, so understanding mathematics in online mode is, I think, somewhat I will not say difficult part, but it is somewhat challenging. That's why uh, with these limitations that we are living with right now, we will be having one extra lecture. Okay, I think you are ready to have that. Okay, so please confirm, please confirm. Okay, that you have, that you are ready to have that extra lecture. It is not actually extra lecture, but okay, so we will have that lecture on Friday. Obviously 3 lectures will be there, plus 1 lecture will be there, from now onwards. Okay, okay, okay. So then our process will be completed. That's why. Okay, then whatever I'm describing to you, that will be uh, understood by you. Okay, okay, okay. Now I think you are having your next session. I'll just check quickly. I'll just check quickly. You are having your next session. This is there is a lunch break. 1:15. Okay, okay. At 1:15 there is lecture of uh, Dr. Kore sir. Okay, you are having the lecture of Dr. Kore sir of your analog circuits of analog circuits. Okay, so I'll be signing off now. You have your lunch break and come at 1:15 sharp. Okay, thank you dear students for your response. I'll be leaving this session.